Hello everyone, this is Dr. Mihir Shah once again with another video. In this video, we are going to start a video series on the subject goods and service tax for all the TYBMS SEM6 student. Okay, so this is the very first video of a video series also known as the introduction to GST. Under this, we are going to learn the basic idea of what is GST and with a couple of examples. Now this is the base of your GST. Okay, so see that you'll just go through it just to understand what are the terminologies which can come under this particular subject. Okay, and thereafter in this video series based on GST, we will be covering up each and every topic which will be important from the exam point of view. Along with that, I'll even tell you for what marks you can expect that particular question to appear. I can give an assurity if you'll go through all these videos, you all can get 75 and on 75 in this particular subject. Okay, chalo. So let us see, go through the small introduction to what is GST with some examples. Okay, the very first question that arises is what is GST? Now it is written that it is a tax which was introduced in India on 1st July 2017. GST stands for Goods and Service Tax. It is supposed to be a common tax for all the goods and services in India. Okay. Now, when you look at the basic meaning of what is GST, so it will be said that GST means any tax on supply. Now, this is a very important term, on supply of goods and services or both, except taxes on supply of alcoholic liquor for human consumption. Okay, that's the definition which has been given by the ICAI and the Income Tax Department or the Income Tax Act. Now, it means that whenever you supply either goods or services or both, on the value of supply, GST will be charged, or whoever is supplying, okay, anything which has been supplied on that particular thing or service, okay, the GST will be charged. Now, in that meaning itself, they have also given you something called except some tax on supply of alcoholic liquor. So now in GST, there are few things on which GST is not applicable. Okay, when we talk about goods and services, it means it covers up everything which is available in India, but there are few things on which GST is not applicable. So the scope of GST, okay, GST is levied on all goods and services except the following. Number one, alcoholic liquor for human consumption. Why? Because on alcoholic liquor we have state excise duty and VAT, okay, which is already continuing, so you cannot have another tax implied on it. Second, on all your petroleum products, because again under that we have your central excise duty and VAT. Third, real estate sector, because it is subjected to stamp duty by the state government. Okay, however, in this year onwards, okay, however, in year or two onwards, even GST is applicable on your property when you do your registration. Okay, and lastly, it is said that tobacco, because it is subjected to GST as well as central excise duty. So then these are the few things which you have to remember, okay, on these particular stuff, that's alcoholic liquor, petroleum and tobacco. Direct GST won't be applicable because there's already some tax already included on it. So that's like the scope of GST. Next comes what are the various types of GST. Now your GST is broken up in few types. Okay, so we have CGST known as Central GST, SGST is known as State GST, UTGST is nothing but the Union Territory GST, and IGST is Integrated GST. Okay, now CGST and SGST or UTGST, they are applicable when you have local sales, that is sale within the same state or the same union territory. For example, if the supplier is from Mumbai and the buyer is also from any part of Maharashtra, okay, let's say he's from Pune. Now Mumbai and Pune, they both come under the same state. If it is from the same state, it will be called as local sales, and here GST will be split up in the form of CGST and SGST. Okay, but If you have the supplier in Mumbai, which is a part of Maharashtra, and the purchaser is in Goa, which is another state altogether, in that case we'll have one direct GST, which will be known as integrated GST, that is interstate sales or sales which is outside state. So we have two types of, two important types that you have to remember. One, when the sale and the purchase or the entire transaction is done within the state, then GST gets split up in the form of CGST and SGST or UTGST. But when you have two different states involved, then we only have one GST, which is integrated GST. Okay, so these are the two types of GST which you have to keep in mind. Okay, now let us take an example. Okay, now under the types of sales, when we said local sales and interstate sales. Okay, so for example, now your sales have been divided in two parts. We have one local sale within the state and one we have interstate sales. Okay, now as we said, if we have local sales, okay, the GST that will be charged will be CGST and SGST, and if you have interstate sale, then we'll have IGST. Now this example states that, let's say we have 1 lakh ka sale done. Okay, we have rupees 1 lakh ka sale which has been done. So in either case, if it is within the state 1 lakh, or if it is in two different state, again 1 lakh. If it, and let's say the GST which has been charged is 5%, that 5% will get divided under CGST and SGST in the form of 2.5% each on the sale of 1 lakh rupees. So that will be 2,500, which comes to 1 lakh 5,000. This is in the case when you have local sales. But what if we have interstate sale? Then we'll have directly, we don't have to divide the GST in two different parts. So we'll have directly 5% IGST, which comes to 5,000 of 1 lakh. Total up to 1 lakh 5,000 only. So now if you look carefully, the GST, the total amount of GST that needs to be paid, it will be equal no matter from whichever state you are. The total will be same. The only thing you have to remember is that if it is within the same state, then your GST gets split in two parts. Half amount goes to the central government and the half goes to the state government. But if you have an interstate, then the entire amount goes to the central government. Okay, now we will take up two problem sum in order to understand what is GST, how you need to calculate it, who is liable to pay GST, okay, and what will be like the total amount of amount that the buyer needs to pay once GST is charged. Okay, so we'll take up two problem sums to understand that. So let us start. Number one, the first question reads out as Mr. A of Pune supplied goods and services for rupees 2 lakhs to Mr. B of Mumbai. Now, very first thing, Pune and Mumbai, they come from the same state, that is Maharashtra. So the SGST and GST rate on supply of goods and service is 9% each, and IGST is supposed to be 18% on that same goods which have been supplied. They are giving you a common rate. So 18 is the IGST rate and it will get split up in 9% each under CGST and SGST. Now since Mumbai and Pune, they both are in the same state, the GST that will be applicable will be CGST and SGST. So we'll have to take 9% each. They've asked us to find, number one, the total price charged by Mr. A. Mr. A is the person who's going to supply and who is liable to pay GST. Okay, there are two things that we need to find. So let us see one by one. So we have we made a small table where we have particulars and values in rupees. Now the value of goods which was supplied was 2 lakhs. So number one, we'll write supply of goods and services. The amount was 2 lakhs. Now on this amount we have to charge GST, which is 18%, but since they are from the same state, we are going to break that 18% in the form of 9% each for CGST and SGST, and that amount gets added to the total value of your product. So whenever you're going to buy anything which includes GST, GST gets added to the price and then you have to pay the lump sum amount. So we add CGST 9% of 2 lakhs, which comes to 18,000. And we again add SGST 9%, which again comes to 18,000. So the total price charged by Mr. A will be 2,36,000. That's the total price charged by Mr. A to Mr. B. That's the first question. Who is now the second one? Who is liable to pay GST? Now, as per the definition, GST is always charged on the supply of goods and services. So the person who actually supplies the goods and service, he is liable to pay the tax. However, he doesn't pay from his pocket. He will collect the money from the customer and then he will pay it to the government. But originally the liability of GST, if you get a question who is liable to pay the tax, the supplier will always be liable to pay the tax. Okay, but he doesn't have to pay from his pocket. He will collect it from the customers and then pay it to the government. So if the question of who is liable, Mr. A is liable to pay the tax since he is the supplier of goods and services. Okay, so that was the basic concept about how GST is charged and who is liable to pay the GST. That was the first problem sum, just to understand the concept. Now we'll take up the second sum. Mr. M of Mumbai supplied goods and services of rupees 24 lakhs to Mr. S of Solapur. So M is supplying goods to S, same state. Mr. M purchased goods of 20 lakhs, in addition paid GST of 9 and SGST of 9% from Mr. C. So now there are two conditions here. Number one, M is supplying goods, and in order to supply that goods, he had bought some raw material from somewhere else. So there are three parties included in this. Okay. Find number one, the total price which was charged by Mr. M for supply of goods and services. Okay, that's very simple. Now if I want to find the value of or the price charged by Mr. M, we'll have to first note down what is the value that he has supplied, and on that we will be adding our CGST and SGST since they are from the same state. So particulars and values in rupees. The value of goods which was supplied was, so we write that the value charged by Mr. M to S for supply of goods and service was 24 lakhs rupees. On the 24 lakhs, we'll have to add up your CGST, which was 9%. So 24 lakhs ka 9% will come to 2,16,000. Same way, we need to add up SGST of 9%, which is again 2,16,000. The total amount that is charged by Mr. M is 24 lakhs plus 2,16,000 plus 2,16,000, which comes to 28 lakhs 32,000. 28 lakhs 32,000. That's the total amount or total price which was charged by Mr. M, okay, to Mr. S. That was number one. Second, who is liable to pay GST, Mr. M or Mr. S? Now, as I told you, the person who supplies the goods and services, he is the person who is liable. So in our case, from M and S, M is the person who has supplied, S is the person who has bought. So B, Mr. M is liable to pay GST. Okay. Third, find the net liability of GST. So now this net liability usually appears when the supplier is selling the goods in one side and he's also purchasing from somewhere else the raw material. In that case, whatever he has purchased, okay, whatever tax he has purchased on purchase, he can set it off. Okay, now let us see how to do that. So we write Mr. M is liable to pay GST as under particulars. We have CGST and SGST. Number one, we need to find output tax. Output tax is nothing but the tax which was collected from supplying the goods. So we can see here he had collected 2,16,000 each from Mr. S. Okay, when he supplied goods of 24 lakhs, so we write there 2,16,000 under CGST and SGST. From this output tax, you will have to subtract input tax credit, that is the tax that was paid on purchase of goods and service. It is said that Mr. M had purchased goods of 20 lakhs and he had to pay tax of 9% each. So 20 lakhs into 9% is 1,80,000. So that goes under CGST as well as in SGST. So when he paid tax, he will set it off with the amount that was collected through output tax. So only the difference which is available, okay, that is 2,16,000 minus 1,80,000, whatever is the difference available, that is the only liability that he needs to, pay to the government. So the net liability of Mr. M will become 36,000 each. So total of 72,000, where we have 36,000 will go to CGST and 36 will go to the state or the SGST. Okay. So these were the basic concept of GST. Okay, how GST usually works. Okay, who has to pay GST, who is liable to pay GST, and what is net liability. Okay, this is just a basic introductory topic that we had covered up. um, Now onwards, okay, whatever we have done, these are just basics number, basic sum. Okay, not just basic concept. Now we'll have actual sums and chapters based on how to find the value of supply. Okay, how to find the liability. There are individual chapters that needs to be covered up, and each and every chapters will be covered up. Okay, so I hope everyone have understood the basic concept of GST. Stay tuned for other videos which will be coming up very soon, which will cover up each and every topic in detail. Chalo, with that, we will be ending this video here. I hope everyone have understood it. Thank you.